Sponsored by Squarespace.
So we're going to be checking out a video today. It's called How Anyone, Including You, Can Read German. For those who know, I have been learning German for the last 2 years, and I'm still learning. I've been learning very unorthodox and stuff, and this I figured would be a really good video to check out. I saw a few other people react to this, and this just came out yesterday, so yeah. Also, I'm in Korea right now, so vlog on that dropping soon.
This one's for lovers of English as much as lovers of German. German is hard. Learning it means studying an array of rules, mastering 3 grammatical genders, and
I still to this day don't know how to do that. I don't.
knowing whether you're using the nominative, accusative, genitive, or dative.
Very difficult stuff.
But in this video, we're ignoring all of that. I'm going to give you some simple tricks that are going to help your chances of understanding the German words written in front of you, whether they're on a billboard, a menu, or in a movie. By the end, we'll be able to decipher this gibberish to the untrained eye into something that any English speaker will be able to understand.
I just reacted to an Unsympathisch TV video, German YouTuber for those that don't know. Most of you guys do. And I think I have already dropped the video today, and if I haven't, then that'll be the next video after this. But go ahead and watch that and let me know how my translation skills were. I had a very difficult time reading what was on the screen and translating it, so hopefully this guy helps me out, man.
No prior German knowledge required. Woo! Even if you don't want to learn German, do keep watching though, because the reasons why these tricks work tell us a lot about our own language. German and English have history. Los geht's.
Okay.
Let's go. So let's get that mystery document back up. The key to decoding this is mainly going to lie in swapping letters in and out to make these words look more like English.
I know exactly what he's about to say for the most part, right? Not exactly, but I did the same thing with a few words, right? So all of the V's, right, are F's. All of the W's are V's. All of the what is it? The O's are like is. Like it's weird. I had to do that to help my Sprache a little bit, and even today, like my Sprache is not that good at all. I haven't practiced in a while, but like I said, check that video out. I just dropped today. I went over a German quiz, a German lesson, and I reacted to a video in German and stuff like that to kind of test where I was, and you guys can be the judge of that.
I go into exactly why it's possible and what it's got to do with all of these guys later, but the key point is that English and German are part of the same language family. They share a common ancestor that they both developed from, and by retracing that development, you can find consistencies in how they differ. Oh. So for example, where English developed a th sound in certain words, German went off in a slightly different direction and ended up with a d sound instead. So
it's more of like a t sound, it feels like, because like let's say there's like Thor, it'll be like Tor.
Where English has 3, German has 3.
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
Where English has thunder, German has Donner.
But Donner is not thunder.
English thing is German ding, and where English has the, German has seemingly endless numbers of words.
I get what he's saying now. That's interesting. I didn't think of it that way.
Of various genders and cases, all of which basically mean the and begin with D. And while we're here, actually, German has du and dein, which are 2 words that have the same ancestry as the age-old English words thou and thine.
Oh.
So there's our first trick. Swapping the D in a German word for TH can very often get...
That's actually clever. What? Man, I thought he was going to go in a completely different direction with that. This is, and it's like a hack, like an actual cheat code.
Gets you closer to the English equivalent. Now, linguistically speaking, the D sound is very similar to the T sound. The processes in our mouths to produce these sounds are extremely similar. Just a tiny tweak makes a T, a D, And that's why you can also often swap a German t sound with th as well, particularly in the middle or at the end of words.
That's exactly what I was talking about. And I had that mixed up with when he was saying swap the th for a d, right? I was saying actually it's the opposite. You have to swap the th for a t, just a straight up t sound, like the Thor example I was using. But he was saying something different, and he's actually addressing what I talked about earlier right now. This is
like
insane.
Mutter, which is mother,
Mutter.
and Wert, which is worth. This similarity between T and D sounds also opens up another letter swap opportunity, this time between the two languages. German T's can often be swapped for English D's.
Oh.
Take a look at these pairs.
Traum.
Dream, daughter, and dear all have
What?
German equivalents beginning with
But deer and Tia just means animal. It doesn't specifically just mean deer. Deer and Tia, I get what he's saying. I do get what he's saying. But Tia is animal.
with T. Tier is actually the German word for animal.
He talks about that.
But that is precisely what
Damn.
deer originally meant in English before we decided to make it mean one animal in particular.
Oh, see, bro, this guy's on target. Everything that I'm bringing up, he has it down pat and already is addressing it on point. This is crazy. Also, that's a fun fact I didn't know about. I didn't know deer what just generally meant animal. And they're like, you know what? We're going to assign it to this one creature that we see here.
In fact, the Dutch word for animal is still deer. Dutch very often provides a satisfying midpoint between German and English. A bit like it does geographically, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now back to German. The D-swap works elsewhere in some words too. Check out under and leader becoming unter and
Unter.
leiter. Incidentally, leiter also means ladder.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know
all
that.
D's and T's again. Now while we're
Unter.
throwing T's around, that reminds me of another good swap.
He should have like a chart. Now, I'm saying this and he's probably going to address it, so I'll keep it brief. He should have a chart for all of this and like a link in his description so that people who are trying to learn German, especially from America or any other English-speaking country, can use it as kind of like a cheat sheet. So, you know, you can like look at words and be like, okay, cool. It's like an on the spot cheat sheet. And then later on when you learn like how things are pronounced and whatnot and learn how it's actually taught in schools, you're able to kind of make that connection with the cheat sheet that he could create. That would be super cool.
This time, instead of taking the T's out, we're going to slip them in the place of the S sound made by either one or two S's.
Okay.
Check out how neatly German Wasser becomes English water. The German word for what is was. And if you apply two of our tricks to German das, you get its English equivalent, that. And that, incidentally, in Old English, like das does in German,
What?
was the neuter version of the. So it works then
Oh
as
my
well.
God.
And another bonus fact, there are actually some German dialects that use vat and dat with a T at the end instead of an S, as does our friend from the Low Countries, Dutch. Oh, and let's bring in that most Germanic of characters, this fat, wiggly fellow, the
S-set.
S-set. Although its name literally means SZ or SZ, it actually replaces a double S. So if you see it, sub in a double S, then try swapping it with a T. For example, German Fuss becomes English foot with a bit of imagination.
That is crazy. What? But sus, which is sweet, you swap that out with a T and it's just soot.
Applied to the vowels. Now let's fling some more T's around
Sus.
because adding a T can also
Suit.
help us solve all of these words. By subbing it in for the ts sound, usually expressed in German with a Z, we can get much closer to the English two, this time the number, and tongue. And there are plenty of others. Right, more of these to come, but I realise it's a lot to take in with all of these consonants flying around. I've become somewhat consonant incontinent, haven't I? So let's take a break to understand why these tricks work when they do, which I admit is not 100% of the time, but the hit rate is really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's very on target. Like you said, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but in most cases it does work, and it makes it a lot easier for you to understand what you're reading, which is incredible.
We'll get to the cool reason just as soon as I've introduced you to this video's sponsor, Squarespace.
Squarespace, let's go. I definitely will probably use that in the future.
Featured in the collections of Germany's famous brothers Grimm, Wilhelm and Jakob. By the way, brother is another word that our tricks work on, because you can just swap the D in the middle of Bruder in German for a TH and you basically get brother. Anyway, Jakob here is our hero, because as well as working with seinem Bruder to bring together and reimagine European fairy tales, he was also a prolific linguist. So I mentioned earlier how English and German are from the same language family, the Germanic languages. In fact, more specifically, they're both Western Germanic languages. And Jakob Grimm was one of the driving forces behind an ingenious theory about how Germanic languages developed together, known as Grimm's Law. Long, long ago, probably in the first millennium BC, the Germanic languages went through a consonant shift that moved their consonant sounds away from those of Proto-Indo-European. That's the ancient ancestor Germanic languages share with other language families like the Romance languages, the Celtic languages, Slavic languages, and others like Sanskrit, for example.
That's crazy. I mean, watching language evolve over time and stuff like that, a lot of times it happens right before our eyes and we don't even really realize it. Right now, there's a huge language change happening, at least with American English. Once again, it's major. They're incorporating slang terms in the official English dictionary, which is nuts. I'm not sure if, and I'm pretty sure to some degree, maybe something like that's happening in Germany now too, with modern lingo kind of taking the place of old lingo and stuff. I mean, let me know in the comments down below if that's accurate or not, but I feel like language is currently changing right now, thanks to the internet.
Example. But the language that became modern High German, which is the most widely spoken form of German and the one we're talking about, went through an extra consonant shift that other Germanic languages, like English, did not. That left German with different consonant sounds to English, but those differences are remarkably consistent. And that's why we can often swap them in and out and get from one language to the other. So now you know the theory, let's get on to some more tricks. Another way that English and German diverged from one another is with the sounds p and f. And it means that a lot of f sounds in German, written with an F, a double F, or PF, f.
Like, isn't it like Pfeffer or something like that for pepper? I'm not sure if I have that right, but I'm pretty sure. I played like a cooking simulator in German, and I think it's at Pfeffer or something like that.
And be swapped with a P to get you closer to the English. For example, German Pfeffer.
Yes, yo! I just talked about that. Let's go.
English pepper. Pfeifer is pipe. They're both double whammies. But German auf has the same linguistic root as English up, and German Hoffe is English hope. There are so many of these as well. Schiff and ship.
This man figured it out, bro. He cracked the code. This is our modern Sherlock Holmes right here, man.
Apfel and apple.
Yep.
This one really does work. So
This is
remember,
crazy.
when the English P, the Germans F. Now the next one is a piece of cake, or in German, ein Stück Kuchen. You can often sub this CH in a German word for a K and get closer to the English, like Kuchen and cake. Also, German machen is English make, although it also means do as well. Suchen is related to English seek, and a German Buch is an English book.
Okay.
And again, actually, once you
sense.
do these swaps, you basically get to the Dutch version of these words.
Bro, that's, even though this is like a nice little like cheat code like slash like spreadsheet of how to easily understand what you're reading in German, the way my brain works, I need to see it on paper, and I need to like really make that connection, because what he is saying is facts. It does work. However, my brain, the way it works, I need to see that on paper. So I hope he has like a chart somewhere that I could look at this. Or you know what? I mean, with this video, he's basically given us all the resources to create a chart of our own to kind of get a nice little start with learning. Now with me, it's a bit different because I have been learning for 2 years. So I do have a pretty good footing on how the language, the grammar, and the Sprache works, but it's not perfect by any means. And this is actually a really interesting way I can get some of my friends that are here, actually, ironically, in Korea, to learn some German with me, because I'm still studying, the language and stuff while I'm out here.
Check out Machen. So Dutch viewers, do feel free to use these cheats with your own language too. German ich becomes Dutch ich, both of which mean I, and incidentally, Old English for I, as in me, was ich, or something like it. My pronunciation of Old English is always dreadful. Anyway, that's all a Dutch distraction, because I was just going to point out that German words that begin with a K often have an English equivalent beginning with C. Cake is a good example of that one as well. A German Kuh is a cow.
Yeah, damn, I did notice that. That's crazy. It's like what's happening right now. The feeling I can basically describe. It's almost as if someone is accurately describing what is happening with your subconscious, because I was subconsciously making those connections when I was learning German, and the fact that he's actually articulating it in a video makes it even crazier, because it makes sense what I was going through when I was learning. If that makes sense.
Kreuz is a cross, and lots of
Okay, so there's a video I'm going to drop today, or if it's already dropped, go watch it. And Kreuz was one of the words I had a problem with translating. There's a lot of words that I forgot when I was learning German. Kreuz was one of them. And I was the quiz I took in the video had to do with articles. I didn't know whether it was der Kreuz, das Kreuz, or die Kreuz. Let me know in the comments down below which one that would have been. And also let me know in that video as well.
Lots of others are really obvious, like Kultur and culture.
Yeah.
You're unlikely to struggle with ones like that. Now, any more for any more? Yes. Hanging out at the end of the alphabet are W and Y.
Yes.
And they hold the key to another couple of handy switcheroos you can do.
Yes.
You're going to try swapping them in for German Gs. Let's take the German word Tag. So we already know what to do with the T. We're swapping it for a D, aren't we? Remember dream and daughter? And now let's try, as I just suggested, removing the G and putting in a Y.
Oh! He cracked the code. He cracked the code, bro. He cracked the code. This is crazy. This is the most Sherlock Holmes thing I've ever seen. Like he like cracked the Da Vinci Code, basically. The German language exposed. That's insane. So I guess all these English speakers out in the world, man, we officially have a way of speed running German understanding. This is insane.
We end up with day. What's the German for day?
Tag.
It's Tag. Another fascinating historical fact, the Old English word for day was this. Notice anything? It has a G at the end, although it was actually pronounced more like a Y. It was something like die.
Die.
Again, my Old English is dreadful. Anyway, some more G and Y swaps. German Weg is English way.
Wow.
German sagen is English say. And if the Y doesn't work, just give a W a go. German Bogen is English bow.
Wow.
Oh, and I've just thought of another good one, actually. A lot of B's in German are V's.
Which words?
In English. Take a look at the German words for live and indeed.
Oh, literally, yes, absolutely.
For
So he's explaining like a literal replacement of letters and stuff like that in words. I guess what I was explaining earlier was pronunciation. Like when I was explaining you can replace all of the W's with V's, I was referring to that in a pronunciation sense and much less of a literal sense of what the word actually turns out to be. So he's right. He's definitely right.
liver, also to give, which is geben,
Geben.
and to stick things together is
Geben.
kleben, which is a
Kleben.
relative of English cleave. Cleave is a fascinating word because it can both mean to separate and to put together. Have you ever noticed that? Little doggy. Had enough of these yet? Well, don't make me stop before I get to my triple letter score trick with CHT.
CHT. Oh, bro, this is probably the trump card he was talking about.
German words containing CHT often have a similar English word with GHT in.
Like Sushi Shasli. Sushi Shasli.
Instead, I give you light, both in the sense of the shiny stuff and the stuff that's easy to lift. I also give you night, eight, and sight. And there are others. Ones to watch out for, though. Nicht means not rather than night.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be blamed for thinking a knecht was a knight, but it isn't. A knecht is a servant. But in my defense, the words are related. The English knights saw themselves as servants to their sovereign. Right, or should that be Richt? Actually, a German judge is a Richter, and they oversee the administration of Recht, so I think that one sort of counts. Anyway, right. Those are all the tools you need to be a consonant trickster.
That is nutty, dude.
So let's put them to the test and bring back this from earlier. And if you hadn't already worked out what this is, it does tell you at the top. Tagesmenü.
Day menu.
Let's work our magic on the T and swap it for a D. And
this is crazy. So that random like poster, right? That random like restaurant poster was actually going to be the exercise for the end of the video, which is now. That's
the G
insane.
for a Y. And we get something very close to day's menu. This is a menu of the day's specials. So, what's for starters? Cremige Karottensuppe. Well, already we see that we can do another G and Y swap in the first word, and we get much closer to the English word creamy. And then we can swap the K at the start of the next word with a C, although I suspect you'd already worked that one out.
Yeah,
this
it's pretty
is
straightforward.
Creamy carrot soup. Und
with
is
bread.
Just German for and
Brot
if
is
you need
bread.
any help with the last word, swap the T at the end for a D, and you can work out that that's bread. The next word is a bit tricky. You probably already know what a schnitzel is, a delicious breaded cutlet. But what about the start of the word, though? Well, swap the K with a C and the B with a V, and you get calves. Does that look like any English word to you? How about calves?
Yeah.
Kalb is the...
Isn't that kind of like an oxymoron, like Kalb schnitzel? Or is schnitzel pork? Oh, wait a minute. So you guys have you have like cow schnitzel. So you make schnitzel out of like cow, like steak, basically. It's basically like breaded steak.
German for veal, the meat of a young cow.
Oh, veal,
a calf.
Wow.
Mit is just the German for with, and we came across Pfeffer earlier. It's our double whammy P swap, giving us pepper. And
this is crazy.
Sauce is conveniently the English spelling. There is a German word for sauce that is extremely similar, but the English, or rather French spelling, is also used. Onto our dessert. It's apple cake. The PF again swapped for a P gives us an apple. Then swapping the K for a C and the CH for a K gets us close enough to cake to work it out, like we did earlier on. And then finally to the drink, you actually have a choice of coffee
or water.
Water
every day of the week.
If we swap the K for a C and that double S for a T.
This is a phenomenal video. Phenomenal video. This is the first video I've ever watched, and I've watched a lot of videos, trust me, that has very articulately and in an organized fashion explained a hack that can basically help any English speaker that has no experience with German at all understand German just by looking at it. And it works. It really does. This is phenomenal. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm officially back to uploading normally, whatever that means. I'm streaming soon, so follow me on Twitch. We just made partner over there. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.